All right. We are live. We live, y'all. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Today is a special day. We have Miss Brittany Evans here.
Hi, hey everybody.
She is the owner of Bar Brittany, and we're doing something special. So it's been almost 90 days. The quarter is almost over. So I'm about to take a break. So
Amen.
we're doing just amen. Amen. I think I supported about 50 women in business, Brittany.
Yes,
Live.
yes, yes. We need our breaks. That is important.
Yes. So I wanted to make sure I get Brittany in before I do that because Brittany knows a lot about multiple streams of income. She's the owner of Bar Brittany, and it's been open for about a year and a half now, huh?
Yeah, year and a half, a year in September. So yeah, a year and a half now. Even though I've always kind of bartended on the side, but having my own business is a whole nother thing.
Yeah. So Brittany, can you tell us about yourself for those who don't know who you are?
Yes, yes. So I am Brittany Evans. I am owner of Bar Brittany. I also work for the State Water Resources Control Board. So I help cities and counties and schools in the state of California with grants to fix and update their water systems. And then Bar Brittany, I was always a bartender. Those of you, if you do know me from Bloomington Normal, I have been bartending since the Elks. Back in 2006, I did Jazz Up Front. I did Alexander Steakhouse. And in basically all the hangout spots for the Black folks in Bloomington. I was the bartender at one point. Um, but I started Bar Brittany during COVID because I was a bartender out here at Fixins, which is a soul food restaurant owned by Kevin Johnson. He was a former NBA player and former mayor of Sacramento. So there was a lot of politicians, coaches, NBA players, NFL players that would come in there and eat and stuff. And the networking opportunities were just phenomenal. So when we closed down for COVID, I, unlike a lot of other people, had a job. And so even though they were still allowing other people to work and give them minimal hours, I went ahead and bowed out so that people who needed the money and didn't have another source of income could still get their hours in. So during that time, I would always have servers and just my regular customers start asking me, well, how do you make this drink? Well, how do you make that drink? So I started telling people how to make drinks. And then I was like, okay, you know what? Let me show you. So then I started going to people's houses and showing them how to make their favorite bar drinks themselves because all the bars were closed down during COVID, and it turned into like a whole thing and a business. So I started doing Bar Brittany drink tutorial parties, which is like a paint and sip minus the paint, all sipping. And I would show people how to make 3 drinks in a couple hours and all the garnishes, the mixers, and stuff like that to go with it. And that's kind of how it started. So once I started doing that, it developed into I started selling bar supplies. Then I started doing mobile bartending where I would go to weddings and restaurants and different or things like that and do private events. And now I have developed even further and I do mobile bartending classes and I also do restaurant consultations. So I help new restaurants and new bars that are trying to open up to set up their bars. I help them make their signature drinks. I help them design and decorate. I help them make their menus. I help them do their orders and their pars, and I get paid to help restaurants. So it's kind of cool. Well, bars per se. But yeah, it's been really awesome to watch the business develop from something that just started as an idea into a whole consulting firm now. So not firm, but
Wow,
business.
congratulations. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Congratulations. I
Yes.
I love how your business has progress, right? So
Yeah.
you and the biggest thing is you just had an idea and you just went off of that spark and that idea. And ever since then, like your business has escalated. You're the number one bartender in the Sacramento Bay Area in California, right? Can you tell us
Yes.
about that experience?
Sure. So I was tagged by one of my previous customers and friends on Facebook, like, hey, you should enter this contest. And it was literally like I think a week or so before the cutoff date, and I went ahead and entered it. And it was a contest with Maker's Mark and Black Restaurant Week. So I entered the contest, and I not won, but was chosen to compete. And then in the end, I ended up winning best black bartender in the Bay. And then I won top 8, elite 8 in the nation. So I won on the West against other places like Vegas and LA and stuff like that. So I won that for the whole West, and then actually ended up losing in the end. But I was still in the top 8. And it has presented so many opportunities for me. It's been great. I've met so many wonderful people, and just things I never really thought I would do. Like, oh, okay. Like, now I don't say no too much. Like, now I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try it. Like, whatever it is, if it's something that'll help benefit me or make some money, I'm usually there for it. So yeah.
Yes, and I love it because you got so much exposure just from that, right? And exposure is essential for us business owners, right?
It is. It really is. Even just little things like I don't have a whole lot of followers. I need to get better. I need to hire someone to do my social media. Honestly, I'm so busy with my 8 billion jobs that I'm not great at social media as I should be, but I try and be. But there are literally people, liquor companies, wine companies and stuff that send me things now. And there's people that look at my story, like Patron looks at my story. I'm like, what? Maker's Mark looks at my story. Black Restaurant Week looks at my story. And it's just things that when you go and see, even if it's not tons of people, the people that are looking, it's like, wow, people are looking, they're watching you, they're seeing what you do, they're seeing what you post. And that's an amazing feeling. Like, wow.
Yes, and I love how you talked about like Patron is looking, Maker Marks is looking. So those are good opportunities to earn income because today's conversation is about adding additional streams of income to your household. So being a brand ambassador, right? And representing brand that aligns with your goals, your vision, and your mission for your company. So
Yes.
that's one stream of income, right?
Yeah.
Another stream of income is you can become a bartender. So can you tell us more about that?
Yes. So you could always be a mobile bartender. It is definitely something I recommend for extra cash. I've been doing it for extra money again since 2006. You don't have to own a whole business. You can just advertise yourself, get some business cards made. But I teach classes that'll show you the basics of bartending. So I'll show you how to be a mobile bartender, meaning what kind of things, what kind of tools you need to bring with you, the kind of things that you should be able to make, the kind of things that you should anticipate for how to be a mobile bartender. What do you need with you when you go to bartend? In addition to what kind of drinks do you make? How do you set up? What are the steps that go into being a mobile bartender? So I teach people that so that they can earn their own income themselves and start selling yourself as a bartender. It's really not too difficult to get your bartending certification online. It's actually probably one of the cheaper things that you can purchase. That does not take a 6-week course or anything like that. You just kind of have to know some basics, which is what I teach you in the class. And then you can go and take your bartending certification online and get certified to be a mobile bartender.
Wow, I love that. And I loved how you mentioned learn a new skill set, right? So
Yes.
ladies, if you learn a new skill set, you can earn additional income, right? So
Yeah.
also one of the things that Brittany does is Brittany is a real estate investor, right? So can we talk about another stream of income is real estate?
And so real estate, especially right now, oh my goodness, it is definitely the seller's market right now. People are paying $50,000 to $100,000 over asking prices right now, at least out here in the California area. And I own property out in Illinois still, but even that's gone up, like way up. Like when I first moved out here, the amount I was charging for rent is not the amount that I'm charging now. Things have gone up. But you know what hasn't gone up? My mortgage hasn't gone up. So if these things are rising and you can increase your rent based on the economy, which is absolutely crazy right now, gas, all that kind of stuff, then do that. Do that. Get some property, get some value in it, get your money for your value. And one of the things I was talking to you about a little earlier before we jumped on this was expanding my property. So in Illinois, we have basements, we have upstairs. I rent out my whole house, but now I'm considering redoing my house and making a bottom apartment and a top apartment, and you get double the money in the same property. So
Yeah, so I love there's two things you just talked about, right? So she talked about residual income, ladies. So
Mhm.
residual income is income that you get every single month,
Every
which
month,
is essential because we get bills every single month. We get
every
our
month.
light bill, our gas bill, our rent,
Mhm.
right? Car notes if you have car notes, insurance, and you know the list of the bills, right?
Mhm.
So it's essential to have residual income coming in every month to cover those bills,
Yeah.
right? And another thing that she mentioned is equity in the house,
Mhm.
right? The economy is going up, so the value of the house is increasing as well. And
Mhm.
another thing is with having another rental tenant live there, right? So
Mhm.
building on an extra space, now you're creating more revenue on this one property. So that's three ways Brittany has given us that you can make income off of one property of real estate.
Correct. Correct. Yep.
That is amazing.
Yes, keep your credit together, get your credit together. When your credit's good, people don't tell you no. You want to get that loan to go ahead and fix up this property and you have the credit to do that, you can do that. And once you do that, you can charge more. Once you do that, you could sell the house for more. You could sell the house. I mean, my whole plan is to buy out here eventually when the house a little more out here than they have out there. But I'm working on it. You just got to have a little more to put down out here, but it's still very able to flip properties here. It's more profitable here. My property was at the same amount for a long time, which is why I decided to rent and not sell my house when I left Illinois. Because to me, it was more beneficial to rent it and get the money from that than sell it for what it is. And now everything's gone up. It's way more than it was even just a few years ago, the value of my property out there. So, yeah.
Yes, I love it. So we just talked about three different forms of income: real estate, right?
Yep.
Becoming a bartender,
Mm-hmm.
right? And being a brand ambassador where
Yeah.
you represent someone else's brand. Trust me, guys, we have more.
Mm-hmm.
Some other things that we do is we invest in cryptocurrency,
Mm-hmm.
right? And one of the things that you can do, you can start small on it's an app called Robinhood, right? And you
Yeah.
can go and you can choose cryptocurrency. Now, with all of these different income streams that we're talking about, you just have to learn.
Learn nothing.
Learn so you can earn,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
in the word learn, there's EARN, earn, right?
Yes. Yes. And that's the great thing about these things. Sometimes you have to have talent, to be an artist, you got to have a talent. These are
Right.
learn to be a bartender. I mean, there's still art to it. Don't get me wrong, but it's things you can learn. You can learn to do cryptocurrency. You can learn to do bartending. It's feasible goals. There are things that you can work towards that you don't have set skill sets to do it. You can learn it.
Yes. And also another thing that I do sometimes is it's this app, guys, it's called Spark Drive. It's for Walmart. So you go to Walmart, you pick up the groceries, and you just drop the groceries off at the people's houses. And you can make like 700 to 1,000 a week, depending on how often you drive. So if you
Yeah.
have a car, that's a good app. And Brittany, what's another
So
suggestion
I
for a
can
driver app?
same type of thing, except for I don't just do Walmart. I do other places. But literally, even with my job with the state, I'll get up early in the morning and I'll Instacart a couple hours early in the morning before it's time for me to start my other job. So then I literally only do it for maybe an hour or two in the morning, and I make $400 a week just doing that. And that's not even 7 days a week. It's not even always 5 days a week. It's literally probably on average, I do it about 3 to 5 days a week. I don't do it every day. And that's still an extra $400 a week from just that. And that's what, 8 to 10 hours in the morning, like in my flip flops and my hoodie. I go and do it. And so Instacart, you don't just pick up the groceries, you actually grocery shop for the people, but then drop it off at their houses and you get money for it. So I do that, and I do DoorDash in the same sense. I do one or the other, usually weekly, but I kind of like the shopping ones because you make a little more money. And then out here, there's a lot more driving than there is in Illinois. So in Bloomington in particular, I probably wouldn't mind door dashing because nothing's too far. But out here, it's a little further with some highways and stuff like that. I actually traded in my car a couple months ago to get one that took less gas, and I'm so glad I did because then everything went up. So I'm like, oh, amen, thank you, Jesus. But yeah, it's worth it. It's a way to do stuff on your time, which I think is important too. You're not on anybody's schedule. Nobody's telling you where to be at any time. You're making the choice to do this on your own time.
Absolutely. And another thing is you can become a coach, right? So I'm a coach, I became a coach. So if you have a expertise in an area and you can teach other people, coaching is a way that you can earn income from that. If you have something that you're passionate about, if you're passionate about helping people heal, if you're passionate about women empowerment like me, if you're passionate about business, right? You can become a coach, right? And you can serve and help other people. And there are many different ways in coaching and speaking that you can earn income. One of them is via a coaching program. So I have a coaching program. Another one is you can host webinars, you can host workshops, you can get paid for speaking engagements, right? So there's a lot of different avenues where you can earn revenue in coaching. And you can email me or message me if you want more information about that. And if you want information about Barb Brittany, she hosts events. She's going to tell us about her events, and then she's going to tell us how we can contact her before we get off.
Yes. So coaching is awesome. Hats off to you and for what you do. You're empowering other women and people in general, not just women anymore, to do their own thing. And that's wonderful. There's nothing like being your own boss. There really is nothing in this world. Like, you make all of your own rules. It's always on your time. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful thing. And then I also, we're talking about coaching and stuff like that, or helping other people. I also work with the California Black Women's Health Project, which started off as a volunteer thing. It was a training. So it was a course that I took. It was a 6-week course I took in order to be certified in mental health advocacy. And then after that, they give us stipends to go and volunteer. So we're still doing volunteer work, but they don't feel like we should have to do all of that for free. So they pay us for that. So little things like that, where you're giving back to the community, really can come full circle and give back to you. If you take advantage and look into them and see what those kind of things do. I work a lot with advocacy, period, as well as racial equity. I do that with the state as well. And I actually was just in Bakersfield last weekend to sing the Black National Anthem. So they pay me to do that, pay for your gas to go, pay you to come out and sing. So there are little things that you can always do if you put yourself out there that'll keep the money rolling in.
Yes. And what are the benefits? And we're going to come back to you, Brittany. One of the benefits of owning your own business, adding additional streams of income, is the travel, right? So Brittany just got back from a ski weekend.
It was so
fun. She's doing something in Vegas, right? You have something coming up in Vegas.
Yes, I have a few things. So a friend of mine is he owns a catering restaurant, and he is the personal chef for the Raiders. And so when they need a bartender, don't want to brag or nothing, but they'll fly me out and I get to bartend for the Raiders. So that's pretty dope. It's just been so many opportunities that you never met. And this is somebody I met in the Bay doing Bay Area stuff. And please believe he loves to throw in there, oh, we have the best Black bartender in the Bay. And people, they pay it. And honey, let me tell you, I'm not even going to lie. When I won those accolades, prices went up. Gas went up. Groceries went up. Don't short sell yourself. Don't feel bad about charging people what you're worth. Know your worth and charge people for that. For so long, I was undercharging myself. I didn't want people to say no. So I was going low, or people would be like, oh, that's a lot. I'm like, okay, you could just pay me this instead. Okay, well, I'm sorry. I understand if you need to go with somebody else. Thank you. Let me know in the future, if you need anything. Do not undercharge yourself. So yes, so I get to get flown out into Vegas to be a bartender for the Raiders sometimes. So
I love that. I love that. And I love that you say don't undercharge yourself, right? So the key is when too many people are saying yes, that means you're charging too low. You're
Yeah,
charging too low. If everybody's saying yes, you're charging too low. You need some no's, right? So go up on your prices. And I
that's
love the key thing that you mentioned was the networking and connecting. You said that the people from the Raiders football team, they fly you out to
mm,
Vegas, right? So there's a lot of networking that you have to do, a lot of connections. And don't be afraid, guys. Don't be afraid of a new opportunity because you
right.
never know where that opportunity can lead to.
That's true. That's true. Always I say yes. Just say yes. I think I said that earlier today, but say yes, try it out. And you know what? If you don't like it, then don't do it again. But you never know until you try. Definitely if there's something that you are capable of doing to better yourself or to make money, go for it. I had no idea I was going to be doing these things that I'm doing. If you would have asked me a year and a half ago when I started this business, like there's no way I would have had any idea that things are going to go this far. So just take those
Yeah.
chances.
Absolutely. Even me, like I host webinars and workshops now, right? I
Yeah.
had no idea I was going to be doing that. So for my first webinar, I got paid 4 figures, and I was so nervous. Like I was extremely nervous. Like, is this going to go well? How is this going to be? Blah blah blah. I did it. Everybody loved it, right? I ended up getting some coaching appointments. So sometimes you have to get outside of your comfort zone to
Right.
get to the income that you deserve,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, you sure do. And then when you start getting up there, like you said, you're making, 4 figures for one thing. I used to make hundreds
Wow.
in a night bartending. Now I make thousands in one day. I mean, not one day, it's a process. I may be consulting for a couple of months, but instead of just getting a couple hundred a night, I'm getting a couple thousand per job now. Prices went
Yeah.
up.
Prices went up, but it's a process that we had to go through.
It
And
is.
me and Brittany, we launched our businesses around the same time, and I've watched your business grow and grow and grow. So I am so proud of you, and thank you so much for coming on tonight. So can you leave them some information about where they can find you?
Yes, so you can find me on all social media outlets at Bar Brittany. It's Brittany with an I, Brittani. I think my name is spelled in underneath my picture. So it's Bar Brittany on all social media outlets, or actually just barbrittany@gmail.com. You can email me with questions. You can email me with bookings if you're interested in doing a mobile bartending class. I also do signature drinks for restaurants and stuff like that. So I know there's a lot of restaurants up and coming in Bloomington. If y'all happen to get a liquor license or something like that, would like some signature drinks, I would be happy to do that for you. I was actually just on Good Day Sacramento a couple weeks ago for some of the signature drinks that I created for a restaurant out here called Gumbo King. And they're really good. Actually, I'm going there in a little bit for dinner with a friend for her birthday. So if you want any of that, mobile bartending classes or specialty signature drinks or help with your bar or restaurant that you're opening up, please feel free to contact me.
Yes, I love it. Thank you so much, Brittany. And you guys have a great Wednesday. I hope this was helpful, ladies. I hope this was helpful. Bye.
Bye.